So, guys, here's another long question that I want to read. And I have touched on this topic multiple times, but I'm hoping that this will help clarify it. Why do you think we are given this veil experience of forgetfulness? When Yeshua touched you, that veil was lifted for a moment, and you experienced tremendous love. Yeshua was aware of the other side and true love. However, most everyone else is not. Are we here to experience not God, so to speak? To truly understand both the nature of God and ourselves as love, we must contrast it with what is not love. For example, in, I don't know if you pronounce this, Dures, black and white prints. You need the darkness and the shadows to see and understand and really appreciate the full picture. Did Yeshua ever discuss this veil or state of forgetfulness that we are in? I have talked about this repeatedly. And I just think this is the number one thing that most people don't get. This is the number one thing. This is why I keep getting asked about this, is because it is the number one thing that people have a hard time and struggle with. God is love. We cannot experience God without feeling the lack of God. We cannot experience God without feeling the lack of God. What is the lack of God? It's something that's impossible, because everything that you're made of, everything that's here and you're experiencing is God. All these atoms that you're looking at in your room are God. It's an energy event, right? And this is, everything that you're looking at is God's image. We are in God's image, what it says in the Bible, right? So everything you're looking at is God's image. What separates us from God is not some casting out, okay? What separates us from that source and makes us not feel that source is our fear. And we are here to experience fear as an example of not loving, so that we can come back and experience love again, experience love fully, experience that vibration of source fully. So not God, it's love and fear. Love is always here. It's always there. But I liken it to the idea of being immersed in love with a fog machine right next to you and your hand on the knob, and you can crank your fear way up and not see the love, or you can crank it way down and see a lot of the love. But the reality of it is, we have to come to realize that our hand is on the knob. We have to come to realize that we are the ones in control of our fears. We have not been cast out to experience. We've not been thrown behind a veil for something. The word veil is something that does go back in a lot of religious traditions. In Sufism, they talk about, God is on one side of a veil, we're on the other side of the veil, and our life is a struggle against the veil. But the other thing that they say is the veil is our fear. And Buddha said the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. And the Bible says, lo, that I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Right? These are all saying that God is always with you, that love is always with you. And it's our fear. I shall fear no. I shall not fear. Fear is the separation. Fear is the thing that makes us feel separate from God. And we have control of our fears. I often have people contact me in great urgency. I need to talk to you now. They don't need to talk to me now. They are in fear. And they are in fear. And that fear itself is hugely affecting how they are experiencing their world. They feel they need to speak to me. This is the reason why I stopped doing the work all those years ago. Because I started becoming people's crutch. And I will not become a crutch. I can't drop into somebody else's fear and be the reason why they don't have fear anymore because their hand is on the knob. Each one of us has to find our own pathway, our own way through it. And you hear people talk and you hear truth. If you hear something that feels like true to you, try it out. If it ends up not working for you, then find something else that feels like truth to you. But find your own truth. The urgency of needing anything outside of yourself is just fear. It's fear of failing. It's fear of not being able to. It's fear of... Now, here's the next element of this. That veil, right? In that veil concept, I said, love is always there. God is always there, right? That veil concept itself is a myth, because in reality, there's only one fear. It's the fear of not being loved in some form. So people say, how can that be? And they give me examples, and I can always track it down to where the love isn't found. To give you an example, now, how is the fear of a tiger or the fear of not being loved? You think that tiger's going to love you or hate you? Period. Well, what about just death, the fear of death? Are you afraid it's not going to be a loving heaven or going to be a hellish afterlife? Fear is an emotional reaction to some future event that may or may not happen with you focused on a negative outcome. Fear is simply negatively focused on certainty. And the reality of it is, you're the only one who can focus it. You're the only one who can set down your veil. You're the only one who can say it's okay to reach the other side. I know a lot of people, when I talk about my astral travel, my out-of-body experiences, they're like, oh my God, I could never do that. Why? Because they're afraid of what they would find. And when they're afraid of what they'll find, they have this situation where they go, oh, I understand now. Right? When they cross over, they're like, oh, I get this. You see the NDE experiences. They cross over. Some of them see hell. Some of them they have this transitional period where they're going through their personal beliefs, which is what I just said. Find your own beliefs, your own truth. And then when they get to the other side, they go, oh my God, it was much more. How many people come back from the other side and they're like, I changed my belief about everything? A lot of them do. A lot of them change their belief about everything. That's important because the reality of it is they're experiencing a truth. They're experiencing a reality. And the ones who get scared and come back, they have scared themselves back into the physical reality. They have scared themselves back into the physical reality. They let their fear encompass them. There is only one fear, the fear of not being loved. And there's only one person who can manage that fear, and that's you. So the idea of no God is a wrong way of thinking about it. God is always there. Lo, that I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me, right? God is always there. God is always there. Fear is the illusion. And the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you've subscribed and you like it, you share it, but also comment below it. Let's get this community talking about these topics and spreading this information out far and wide so we can change the world for the better. Thank you.